Weight loss plateau is very common and it happens for everyone. Anyone who is trying to lose weight or anyone who is on a calorie deficit, they will find that they come to a plateau. The one way of breaking a plateau is to not worry about it, because if you start worrying about it, then you're going to overanalyze whatever you are doing. We need to understand that your body is going to adapt. Your metabolism is going to adapt to those lower calories. So when you're trying to lose weight, your body is going to change your metabolism to now become more efficient or using less energy in the same activities.
Correct.
So which means that that's the time for you to do metabolism increasing or ergogenic activities.
Someone asked, is it okay to drink those laxative or slimming teas every day?
Oh my God.
They make me feel lighter, but I'm not sure if it's safe.
Laxatives for slimming, that's like the worst thing you could do.
Marketing gimmick.
No, it's wrong.
Everyone's curious about these GLP-1 injections for weight loss. They are all over the news and social media. Apart from the cost and side effects, is there anything people should be cautious about long term? Hi everyone, welcome back to Ask Amita podcast. You all have been sending us so many interesting questions about weight loss, and we have picked most common ones.
Okay.
So today Amita ma'am is going to answer them. So let's start with the one everyone's curious about. These GLP-1 injections for weight loss. They are all over the news and social media. Apart from the cost and side effects, is there anything people should be cautious about long term?
That it is not a long-term solution. Okay, people often think that if I'm taking any kind of a GLP-1 medication for weight loss, like that's your Ozempic, Mounjaro, there are like many happening or available across the world. Now, people often look at it as a permanent solution or as something that will help me to lose 15 kg weight and then I will be able to magically keep it off.
Okay.
Just because I reduced it, say taking a GLP-1 medication. Now, it doesn't happen that way. Just like any crash diet, okay, just like any, say, extreme calorie reduction or fat diet for that matter, even with the GLP-1 drugs, what happens is if you get off it suddenly and if you again go back to an unhealthy lifestyle, all of that weight is going to come back, and what you will again in this, just like fat diets, what you will end up gaining is going to be fat tissue.
Okay.
Okay, so this is something that one needs to always keep in mind, that if you are starting anything with a GLP-1, then you do need to remember that it needs to be backed or supported with changes in your diet and your lifestyle. By that I mean that your diet needs to be managed, plus you also need to be exercising, you need to be strength training, so that whatever changes you are seeing eventually become a way of life for you.
But is it safe to take? And another thing, along with the rapid weight gain, with the as one of the side effects, are there any other side effects of this GLP-1?
So GLP-1 side effects are many. There are things like your appetite obviously is going to get impacted. You're just not going to feel hungry. There's nausea, there's extreme dehydration, there's piles, constipation, fissures, all of that can happen. The long-term other issues are with muscle mass, with your liver and kidney and everything. And see, these drugs are very new as of now, and the side effects and the impact of it we will get to know in future.
Yeah.
There are studies that are happening, and it's just as new as barely like say an year old, and that in pharmacology it's a very short
Yeah.
span. We don't, not enough time for us to know what is actually happening with those medications. But we do need to remember that anytime you're trying to reduce your weight using, say, an external
Method.
factor like a GLP-1 medication, then you are going to have some other effects. Okay, and if you get off it randomly, because it will also need to be tapered. You can't be just, today I was taking, say, 10 units and tomorrow I'm taking 0. You can't do that. You have to taper it. And it has to be always supported with sustainable long-term lifestyle changes. So you can't be like, while I was on the GLP-1, I was working out and everything, and now that I've achieved my goal weight, I can stop doing all of it. It doesn't work that way, because it will come back, and it will all come back as fat tissue, which will then lead to your heart getting weaker and you being like you're seeing cardiovascular risks increasing and stuff.
That's danger.
Yeah, that is something that one needs to be very careful about.
Now, this is such a common everyday doubt. If we remove the cream from the milk and make curd or buttermilk, does it still have fat?
If we are removing cream from the milk, then that's going to make it skim milk.
Okay.
Okay, so this is we are speaking of homemade skim milk, where you boil the milk and then kept it in the fridge overnight. Then you have like a thick malai or clotted cream forming on top. You remove that layer, then it's going to become skim milk. Skim milk also does contain some fat, but it's still lesser than a full fat milk. So depending on which milk and how much how well you have done the skimming process, your skim milk, homemade skim milk, is going to have anywhere around 2.5 to 3.5% fat. If you are making, say, curd or buttermilk from that, that will also have the same levels of fat. So that's also going to be lower in fat than a full cream dahi or a full cream buttermilk, but not zero fat.
Not zero fat, correct. Someone asked, ma'am, I have been following 2 times eating for 45 minutes and I have lost around 6 to 7 kilos in 2 months. It's working well, but is it safe to continue for a long run? Also, you often talk about stress. What's the normal range for cortisol and when should we test it?
Okay, so the other day in one of the events that I was speaking at, one talk, someone asked me like, what about stress? Like, isn't stress going to make me put on weight? Okay, and that is something that now increasingly people have become more aware about. And I always say this, that you are like, you also asked me a question about cortisol, because suddenly everyone has been talking about cortisol, like, is this new thing which is like coming and doing so much damage to us? But it's truly not that. Like, people assume that you are gaining weight because of cortisol, but if you ask me, you're alive because you have cortisol.
Oh.
It's that important a hormone in our body. And if we go towards, say, trying to reduce as much cortisol as possible, that's not going to really work, because low cortisol levels are going to get you to be like super listless and you'll just not have any energy for that. So while you should be tracking what are your CRP levels, that is your C-reactive protein, and your cortisol levels, but you don't need to obsess over it. Okay? Because we find that cortisol levels do tend to be increased when you have situations like hypothyroidism or PCOS or any other endocrine issues, or even with diabetes or hypertension. So all of these lifestyle disorders, by default, you will find that is going to lead to your cortisol increasing. What you should be looking at is whether you are able to manage your body weight well, whether you are able to manage your fitness well, whether you are able to manage your strength well, whether you are struggling to climb, say, a couple of flight of stairs. Those should be the
important factors.
Red flags for you, or factors to consider when you are like, opting for anything in terms of your fitness journey. The first part of your question was about eating twice for 45 minutes, right? Now, that's a very popular diet, especially amongst people in Maharashtra and people who are adjunct to Maharashtra. So the eating twice, morning, evening, for 45 minutes, trying to manage your diabetes. So it started off as a diabetes management diet. And people found that, hey, while managing our sugars, it's also helping me manage my body weight. And then suddenly they started seeing like some 10, 12 kg drop in body weight, and hence it became popular. Now, there are two problems with it. One is that when you suddenly tell me that, Amita, today you are going to be eating only for 2 meals. 45 minutes in the morning, 45 in the evening. And then I'm like, okay, but someone offered me a mithai just now. It's still not my 45 minutes of eating. So if that's the only time, let me carry it with me. Let me take it, and then I will eat
later.
Eat it later when I can eat, right? So what started happening with that was that people did not realize that even if you're eating twice, you have to be eating healthy.
Yes.
The assumption or the understanding of that popular diet became that, okay, if I have to eat twice, I can eat whatever. So then I can eat my pizza, I can eat my biryani, I can eat, say, a
mithais.
burger, chips or mithai or sugary, whatever. So that doesn't really work well. And the other problem is that it completely changes the way you're looking at food. So instead of you looking at food or ensuring that whatever food you're eating is going to nourish and satisfy you, you're only going to look at it as, hey, this is something that I need to eat within my 45 minutes, and that's like the only time. So not a fan of that particular diet. And the other challenges with that are that even when you drop weight, because essentially it's a calorie deficit diet, it's restricting your calories, because how much are you going to be able to eat in 45 minutes, right? So even if you're eating, say, a very high calorie food with all junk food, there's a limit on how much you'll be able to eat in 45 minutes. So that's the presumption in that. What happens over time is that, one, it changes your relationship with food. Secondly, even if you do lose some weight, most people, they stagnate after losing 5 kg of weight on that popular diet of 2-time eating. But what it ends up doing is you lost your weight, but your fat values, your lipid profile changes for the worse. So you're going to end up having more cholesterol, you'll have more triglycerides and stuff. So that way it's not like really healthy.
Not sustainable.
No.
Okay. Here's my question. After steady progress, the scale just refuses to move. Is it just it is just a myth, or is it true?
So, weight loss plateau is very common, and it happens for everyone. Anyone who is trying to lose weight or anyone who is on a calorie deficit, they will find that they come to a plateau. Oftentimes, people get very worried and scared of a weight loss plateau. If you ask me, that is a time to be happy.
Oh.
Why? Because now your fat loss has matched whatever is your muscle, say, maintenance. Because if you're not doing any active workouts and everything, then you may not be gaining muscle. Now, the one way of breaking a plateau is to not worry about it. Because if you start worrying about it, then you're going to overanalyze whatever you are doing.
Yes.
Other thing to do, because then it's going to just make you super stressful. You are going to lose sleep over it. We know that if you're losing sleep, that's again going to hamper your recovery and your weight loss efforts. So don't become hyper stressed. It's also a time to reflect and actually sit and analyze what you are really eating. Are you really in a calorie deficit? Because what happens is, say, initially my diet was 2,400 calories or 3,000 calories. I started a step down. That is, I reduced my calories by 200 calories, and now I'm eating 2,800. 2,800 calories eaten consistently with, say, some exercise like walking and everything, I dropped like 3 kgs. All right. And then it stagnated. That is the time to also see that whether first I'm actually eating only 2,800 calories or more. And second, also we need to understand that your body is going to adapt. Your metabolism is going to adapt to those lower calories. So when you're trying to lose weight, your body is going to change your metabolism to now become more efficient or using less energy in the same activities.
Correct.
So which means that that's the time for you to do metabolism increasing or ergogenic activities like strength training, walking more, sleeping better, changing some bit of exercise and everything, or ensuring that you're eating more protein. Simple things, okay? So that is what needs to happen.
If someone eats too little or skips meal, does that slow down the metabolism, that is BMR? I feel like I'm eating less but not losing.
So this is again very common. Most people who are trying to lose weight are going to just suddenly cut down whatever they are eating. What happens with that is you then end up signaling to your body that no food is incoming. Then your body is going to, it wants you to be alive, right? Your body doesn't want you to perish, which means that your body is going to adapt its metabolism in a way that you end up spending less and less energy doing the same activities.
Okay.
So you will find that when you dropped your calories significantly, after the first 2 to 3 kgs of, say, your weight loss, you're not going to see much change. So that is not the way of going about it. Of eating very less is not the way of going about it. You need to ensure that you're eating the right quantity of protein, you're eating enough fiber, you're eating good healthy fats while also increasing things like your non-exercise activity thermogenesis or even strength training or just ensuring that you're sleeping better, all of that.
And not skipping meals.
Not skipping meals. Skipping meals never works.
Okay. Someone asked, is it okay to drink those laxative or slimming teas every day?
Oh my God.
They make me feel lighter, but I'm not sure if it's safe.
Laxatives for slimming, that's like the worst thing you could do.
Marketing gimmick.
No, it's wrong. It should be banned.
Why?
It's like the worst thing that you could do for your gut health. Is the worst thing that you could do for your health overall. Because what happens is when you're taking laxatives to slim down, and you have those slimming teas, and you have there's so many different powders that are available in the market today, all natural powders. Can't help it, but yeah. So now what happens in that is when the function of laxatives is to just get rid of whatever contents you have in your intestine.
Yes.
So just get rid of it. So you're going to go and poop like 4 or 5 times. You'll go stand on the weighing scale and then find that, oh, I'm half a kg lighter, but at the cost of your gut microbiome. Okay, now when you are taking laxatives, along with whatever food contents you have in your gut, it's also going to throw out all of the good bacteria.
Oh.
Okay, and then you will find that yes, I became probably 1.5 kg lighter, but at the cost of my hair falling out, my eyes getting all sunk, or
Impacting gut health.
impacting my gut health, my skin is going to break out, my skin is going to look dull, and all of that, So
Not
really
needed.
not the way. I mean, I would rather be have keep my 1.5 kg weight where it is instead of having all of those side effects.
Definitely. Okay. Someone asked, I'm vegetarian and I get barely 20 grams of protein from my meals. Should I add protein powder for weight loss? If yes, how much and which type? Will it really make a difference?
So yes, you should consider adding a protein supplement, and what type will depend on whether you are lactose intolerant or not, or whether you like what taste you like and budget and everything. We have a detailed video about this, so you can watch that about how to choose your protein supplement and everything. And I would say start off with half a scoop of protein supplement, and then increase it to 1.5 depending on what your training load is, how much exercise you're doing.
Okay. A viewer with hypothyroidism and knee pain says workouts are tough. Can diet alone still help her lose weight slowly and safely?
No, it can't. Because diet alone will help you lose only around 4 kgs. If you want to lose more with just diet, then you are going to end up losing muscle weight. And the worst thing that you can do when you already have existing
Hypothyroidism.
not just hypothyroidism, existing knee pain, is to lose more muscle.
Oh.
Because your knee pain is happening because your muscles are weak. Okay, your knee pain is not happening only because your bones are weak. It's also happening because your muscles are weak. So if you're trying to lose weight and whatever weight you end up losing is going to be muscle, that's not going to go and pick that, okay, I will go and drop muscle only from Amita's arms. It doesn't happen that way. You cannot choose. Just the way you can't choose where you are going to lose fat from, you cannot pick where you are going to lose muscle from. And it's just going to indiscriminately end up being a muscle loss, which you don't want. So the worst thing that you can do is to try and eat further less and less, or skip meals and whatnot, or have only boiled vegetables and things like that. Or typically people end up dropping their protein intake in attempt to lose some more weight, and that's going to be counterintuitive, not just for your hypothyroidism but also for the knee pain.
Now everyone's saying intermittent fasting is the best way to lose weight. How does it actually fit into a normal Indian lifestyle? Is it safe for women?
So firstly, intermittent fasting is just a tool. It's just defining the time that you're going to be eating in.
Okay.
So if you're someone who cannot be disciplined, or if you're someone who struggles to have say mental control or impulse control, where we are speaking of food, the chips ka packet dig gaya to chips khana hi hai. If that is happening, then yes, intermittent fasting could work, because then you have say, defined,
Restriction.
like a start time and a stop time.
Yes.
Now, the thing to remember in that is that ensure that whatever you're eating, you're not ending up getting mad headaches and not being able to sleep and everything. And you also need to ensure that within the time that you're eating healthy and that you're meeting your protein and your healthy fat and your fiber requirements.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that's, say, the best tool, one of the tools.
But is it safe for women?
Yeah, women can also do intermittent fasting, no challenges at all. But the thing to remember is that women 35 year plus, they tend to start getting migraines because of their perimenopause.
Okay.
So if you are a 35 plus woman who is struggling with headaches already, then intermittent fasting may not be for you. So if you find that you started an intermittent fasting regimen and then you ended up not being able to sleep or got headaches, I would say just switch it up. Move to a 14-10 or a 12-12 kind of thing.
Okay. After my sugar levels went up, an Ayurvedic doctor told me to stop milk and dairy completely. But I'm a vegetarian. How do I get my enough protein, B12, and calcium now?
Enough protein, B12 and calcium. Okay, let's deal with the protein bit first. You can get protein from even all of the legumes and dals and stuff. You can even get it from tofu and soy products. So that's one. Second is how will you get your calcium and B12? For
yes.
B12, I would say just supplement makes sense. Straight away take a supplementation and be done with it, because even people who are non-vegetarians have a lot of B12 deficiency. So do that. With calcium, again, you can get milk products are not the only source of calcium. You can get a good amount of calcium from nuts and whole grains and millets and everything. So include those nuts, seeds and millets in your diet and you'll be good.
You often say to balance your plate, but what's the right order to eat food for weight loss? Like, should I eat veggies first, then protein, and then carbs?
Okay. Now, I always say this, that if eating enough protein is a challenge, then start with the protein first. Okay. Or in the Indian diet, what you can do is eat the protein and the vegetable first.
Okay.
With some of the carbs. Okay. And then you eat whatever is remaining. So if you say, I'll give you a simple example. If I've taken, say, one serving of rice and I'm eating it with a dal and a vegetable. Okay. So what I would recommend you do is that you take it in a bowl, so that way you can take more of the dal, more of the vegetable and less of the rice. Because if I'm taking it in a plate and then trying to put dal on my rice, then it's going to seem like I don't have enough rice to hold so much dal.
Correct.
But if you take it in a bowl, then you're going to end up being able to eat all of it easily. So given an option, or if you have the choice, if your food is such where you can do the ordered eating, then start with the protein and the vegetable first.
Now let's move on to some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Can skipping dinner help you lose weight faster?
No.
Biggest mistake people make when trying to lose weight?
Skipping meals.
Is it true that drinking lemon water burns fat?
Nope.
Does sleep really affect weight loss?
It does.
Carbs at night, yes or no?
Yes.
Can stress make you gain weight?
No.
Okay. Does eating after 8 p.m. cause weight gain?
No.
True or false? You have to eat less to lose weight.
You have to eat fewer calories to lose weight.
Lastly, if you had to give one golden rule for weight loss, what would it be?
Don't expect to lose weight without moving your body. Diet forms around 80% of what your weight loss progress is, but the 20% needs to come from exercise and movement.
So that's a wrap up for today's episode. If you liked this format of question and answers, do let us know in the comments.
And in the comments, tell us what other questions you want us to include in such an episode where we are answering your questions. Don't forget to share this with all of your friends so that all of their questions are also answered in future.